y'all. Sorry I haven't posted in a while. I was actually fully anticipating the rapture on May 21st. And while I didn't personally expect to be raptured, I figured that in the ensuing chaos I probably wouldn't be able to count on a reliable internet connection. So I thought my vlogging days would be over. Plus, theology is going to be pretty obsolete when the end of days comes, and I wanted to retire ahead of the game. When the rapture didn't happen, I spent many days in prayer and contemplation, and it occurred to me that Harold Camping is a crazy man, and I probably shouldn't anticipate the end of days coming in October either, so I decided to get back to Scribble theologizing. Unfortunately, I had sold my computer and spent all my money announcing the coming end, so then I had to scrape together the funds to buy another computer. But it's all taken care of, and here I am, and I'm going to talk to you about Pentecost language and Trinitarianism. Trinitarianism first. The doctrine of the Trinity states that God, while being one, exists in three persons, usually referred to as the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. This is based on, actually it's nowhere in the Bible. It was actually made up by Bishop Theophilus of Antioch in the 2nd century and codified by the Council of Nicaea in 325. The problem that Trinitarianism answered was that Jesus Christ was deemed worthy of worship in the early church, which would seem to conflict with the whole monotheism thing. After all, the commandment didn't say, "You shall have no other gods before me unless it's my son," in which case it's totally cool. In fact, gods and their sons have a habit of not getting along real well. Just ask Zeus about his relationship with Cronus. So, how do you worship Jesus and God while still having only one God? Make them two personifications of the same God. Then throw in a third for good measure, because 3 just seems more complete than 2. Now, there was a whole lot of debate around how exactly this whole thing worked. Whether Jesus and God were of the same substance, whether Jesus was transient or eternal, whether the Holy Spirit was really a person or just a friendly ghost, and so on. The main divide that remains among Trinitarians is between Western Christians who believe that the Holy Spirit proceeds from the Father and the Son, like so, and Eastern Christians who believe that the Holy Spirit proceeds from the Son, who proceeds from the Father, like so. This was actually the cause of the East-West Schism of 1054, one of the 2 greatest splits in Christian history. Confused? That's okay. So are Trinitarians. Now on to Pentecost language. Okay, when I say Pentecost language, I don't mean like I mean inclusive language. I mean reconceptualizing our understanding of the divine through the use of a broader range of nouns and pronouns than the male-centered ones that are most common. Now, I do consider myself a feminist, or at least a half-feminist, but I'm not the loudest feminist I know. When a coworker sent me a video of a 15-year-old girl slamming the Bible for allowing the selling of one's daughter into slavery, I replied that attacking an ancient text from a modern feminist perspective is a little bit like criticizing Hammurabi for not protecting Babylon with a force field. Of course, to the anti-feminists, I have to say that basing your prescribed societal norms on an ancient text is pretty much like protecting your spaceship with a city wall. Anyway, Pentecost language. So yeah, I just got back from this church conference, which was really cool, but holy crap was there a lot of male language for God. King this, father that, he, him, his, and so on. And like I said, I'm not the most sensitive feminist, so it really was pretty bad. Now, before I lose you altogether, I want to stress that this is not some crazy leftist hippie crap. How we talk about God, whether we use gendered language for God, matters. Mary Daly said, "If God is male, then male is God." Now, if you're like me, you might react by thinking, well, under the reflexive property of equality, that's mathematically true, but it's not logically true. All Shelties are dogs does not mean all dogs are Shelties. But if God is male, then male is God only sounds extreme until you realize that that sort of thinking is exactly why the Catholic Church prohibits women from serving as priests. You see, Jesus was a man, so priests who are supposed to be like Jesus should also be men. This is also why, until Vatican II, the Catholic Church required that all priests have beards, walk on water, and be crucified at age 33. When we refer to God as He, we are, however unintentionally, suggesting that men are somehow created more in God's image than women, which in a world that still struggles to treat women like real people is dangerous at best. Another issue we should keep in mind for the sake of theological integrity is that when we use the words Father and God interchangeably, we're practicing bad Trinitarian theology. Remember our lesson on Trinitarianism? Father is only 1/3 of God, who, besides, prefers to be called Mother. Referring to the Holy Spirit as a He is a heck of a lot sketchier, though I've heard it done. As for the Son, it's a little more acceptable since Jesus was, a man. Although I would argue that just because Jesus, Yeshua, son of Joseph, was a man, that doesn't mean Christ, God, is male. If you don't understand the distinction, you need to brush up on your science fiction. You might try Season 2 of Stargate. Actually, if Jesus was born of Mary and had no human father, biologically speaking, we can assume that Jesus had no Y chromosome. That means Jesus was genetically female, making him the world's oldest named transgendered man. Now, go forth and babble incoherently about the Trinity. And if that doesn't work, just be slain in the Spirit and babble incoherently. It's easy to make fun of Harold Camping's victims. But remember, many people lost their life savings, their retirement, their children's college money. Please, show compassion.